Good day, Crime Talk aficionados. This is Scott Reisch from Crime Talk, and thanks for tuning in. On the docket today, first, Dulos is on the loose. $6 million bond paid. Heidi Broussard's fiance has one question for Megan Fieramusca. A Kentucky judge has gone wild. A disturbing case out of Edwards, Illinois, and our dumb criminal contestants of the week. And man, I tell you, they're in the running. Let's talk about it. Good day, Crime Talk aficionados. This is Scott Reisch from Crime Talk, and thanks for tuning in. If you have not already done so, hey, please hit that subscribe button, hit that like button if you like what we're talking about, and leave us a comment below. First on the docket, Dulos is on the loose. He paid his $6 million bond on charges of first-degree murder. Wow, most people can't do that. The fact that he did says to me that not only does he have resources, the question now will be, will he show up for court? And if he's got that kind of dough, he can put on one heck of a defense. This ought to be good. Take a look at this guy walking out of the courthouse. It doesn't look like he has a concern in the world. What do you think? Should he be nervous? The ex-girlfriend, Michelle Triconis, posted her $1.5 million bond, and the former attorney of Fotis Dulos, Kent Mahoney, he still remains in custody on a $2 million bond. I wonder if Fotis is going to help out his old friend and attorney on his bond, because Fotis, remember this, the threat of imminent incarceration tends to break the bonds of loyalty. So if Mahoney is sitting in there and not feeling the love from Fotis Dulos, boy, look out. People start to roll. Next on the docket, Heidi Broussard's case down in Houston. This is the case where Heidi Broussard was found dead, strangled in the trunk of her friend Megan Fieramusca's car. And the daughter, the 3-week-old daughter, when this all happened, was found in the house with Megan Fieramusca. Shane Carey, the fiance of Heidi Broussard, is still in shock, but he gave a television interview today and stated that just doesn't understand it, but he has one question, if he would be able to ask it to Megan Fieramusca, and that's simply, why? Can you think of any good reason why somebody would do this? Shane Carey also believes that somebody else was involved. He simply believes that Heidi Broussard could have handled herself if it was just her versus Megan Fieramusca. He truly believes somebody else was involved, and he's upset that first-degree murder charges have not been brought yet. I'm sure the DA is investigating. They'll bring charges and or an indictment here shortly, but we'll see where the investigation leads. Next, a Kentucky judge has gone wild. You know, we had our late night judges hitting strip clubs and getting shot and doing all those types of things. Well, in Kentucky, where judges have to run for re-election, and it's a different type of system down there, and I'm not going to say I know exactly how it works, but basically in some states, judges say, I want to be a judge, and you run for election to be a judge. Here in Colorado, people apply if there's an opening for a judgeship, and a committee of attorneys and non-attorneys interview everybody, and then they send a list of 3 names up for one vacancy, and then the governor appoints the judges, except for in Denver for county courts. And then that judge is a judge for 2 years, and then after that runs for re-election. The kind of weird thing about the election is that the judges cannot campaign. So it's either retain or not retain, and every now and then they kick a judge out for non-retention. Well, we have a judge down in Kentucky by the name of Dawn Gentry, and she won an election last year in November of 2018, and apparently she doesn't get along well with coworkers. Judge Gentry has been suspended with pay after she was accused of misconduct, including an allegation of a threesome in the courthouse. Now, Gentry made her male lover and a third court employee, according to the allegation, made them engage in a sexual activity in the courthouse. Gentry denies that in her judicial pleadings that she's filed before the grievance people there in Kentucky. Additionally, she's alleged to have hired her lover, a former pastor, allowed him to play the guitar and sing in the office, thereby disrupting court employees in their workday. And apparently through her attorney, Miss Gentry had no idea that the singing was disruptive in any way. She also apparently allowed her children to sit in on court proceedings that were considered to be confidential, and when her own child recognized the child at issue in the hearing, that gave rise to the misconduct. Additionally, she's been accused of retaliating against court employees who didn't support her in her reelection campaign, basically approved false or inaccurate timesheets, and allowed employees to store alcohol on the premises in the courthouse for drinking while working. Now, the good judge denies it. We'll see what comes of it for sure. But I've said this before, judges are not above the law. In fact, they should be held to a higher standard because they are there to make sure that the law is applied equally to all. And they need to have it applied to them as well. So we'll see how that comes about. Next on the docket, a disturbing case out of Edwardsville, Illinois. So the victim in this particular case is an attorney, a very successful attorney by the name of Randy Gorey. He does a lot of mass tort litigation, looks like to asbestos, made a lot of money, donated a lot of money to charitable organizations, to law school, undergraduate school. And for some reason, the suspect, Timothy Banowitz, apparently shows up at Mr. Gorey's house, a very sprawling, large house, and somehow gets into an altercation or something, and there's no indication that these two know each other. Ultimately, Mr. Gorey is stabbed numerous times. The children in the house apparently are held basically as hostages at another point, and it sounds like the wife of Mr. Gorey or somebody else walks in and basically throws this plot out of whack, and then Mr. Banowitz gets in Mr. Gorey's Rolls-Royce SUV and drives down the road, and they find him later hiding out in the woods. And Mr. Banowitz, what's even weird is that he was a pharmacy student at St. Louis College of Pharmacy. So this guy's not dumb. Apparently he had some financial issues, but there's no connection that these two really knew each other. Just a tragedy and a weird situation all around. So we'll be following that one as well. Maybe Mr. Banowitz was, trying out some of the drugs he should have been prescribing, but normally they don't have access to those until they're in their, I think, 4th year of pharmacy school. So that's a little odd. Now, next item on the docket, dumb criminal of the day contestant. Now, these two, I've got to tell you, they have got to be contestants for Dumb Criminal of the Year. If we had to give that award, yes, I know it's early, these two would get it. So two gentlemen in Mississippi, Otis Lantham, 47, and Russell Sparks, 48. What did they do? They are charged with conspiracy to commit a felony and uttering a counterfeit instrument over $1,000. This carries a possible penalty of up to 20 years in prison. And you say, what did Otis and Russell decide to do? Well, this was what they tried to do. They were probably sitting around, and I would love to see how this plan was hatched to know the details behind it. But apparently Mr. Otis Lantham and Russell Sparks thought it would be a good idea to win the lottery. And instead of going out and buying a couple of scratch tickets, no, what do? They create their own winning ticket. Could you imagine? Otis, what's that, Russell? We should win the lottery. How are we going to do it? We'll just glue some numbers onto a scratch card ticket. Yes, that's what they did. They went to the Mississippi Lottery office, presented the scratch card ticket with winning numbers glued on to the ticket, whereupon it was immediately discovered to be a fraud. The lottery department checked it out as well with the little barcodes on the back to make sure it was in fact a winning ticket, because apparently old Otis and Russell are not the first ones to ever try this, but they got caught, and now they are facing charges. Who would think that they could actually get away with that? I want to know, what kind of substance were they on? Was it alcohol or some other controlled substance where A, they thought they could do this, B, they thought that gluing something on was not going to be discovered? Yes, they are our dumb criminal contestants of the day. And I tell you, they are in strong running for Dumb Criminal of the Week. Thanks for watching. I appreciate you tuning in. We are going to be live this Saturday, 10 a.m. Mountain Time. Ask Scott. I'll answer any question you have about any case out there. We'll talk about it. Have a great day. We'll see you tomorrow.